When I was in HVAC, my mind was all comfort. Is Peter comfortable in his office? Is he cool enough? Is he warm enough? Or is the air stale? That's all I cared about. But now that we are in healthcare, we have surgical suites. Is it positive pressure? Is it negative pressure? The humidity isn't just, is it comfortable? It is critical to, are we damaging the equipment, damaging the tools? It is so much more in depth. It's so much more involved than one would realize. I think we need to do a better job of explaining what it is we do. People can do this. There's a lot of eligible people out there that we have to promote and give them the confidence that they can do this.
There's a major crisis facing healthcare facilities management. We have aging employees, aging buildings, and aging infrastructure. We've created the Healthcare Facilities Network, a content network designed specifically to help solve for these three pressing issues in healthcare facilities management. We bring on thought leaders and experts from across healthcare facilities management, all the way from the C-suite to the technician level, because at the end of the day, we're all invested in solving the aging issue. Thanks for tuning in. Look at our videos. You will find that as a theme across our content. This is the Healthcare Facilities Network. I'm your host, Peter Martin. We are here on the Healthcare Facilities Network with an impressive array of guests today, which also is, and it's very fitting, our discussion, the trades in healthcare facilities management. It's also Healthcare Engineering Week. Let me flip it over to my guests to ask them to introduce themselves. Michael, why don't we start with you?
My name is Michael Kuntz. I work for P1 Service LLC. We are, all three of us, contracted to St. Luke's Hospital of Kansas City. I have been with St. Luke's P1 for 8 years in my role as a senior lead engineer for a little over 3 years. And previously I was in HVAC.
I'm Jonathan Enlow. I've been with P1 and St. Luke's the same amount of time. I've been here a little over 6 years. I actually have worked at 3 different of the St. Luke's locations. And I've been a lead engineer for about 2.5 years. Before that, I was just a maintenance engineer.
Hi, my name is Dennis Hull. I've been with P1/St. Luke's for 6 years, lead engineer for the last 2.5, and just a maintenance tech before that.
Thank you for joining. We talk about all the time, especially here on the Healthcare Facilities Network, we talk about the gray tsunami, people retiring, not getting enough people in, but just as noteworthy and just as impactful is we're not getting folks into the trades coming up either, and probably even more so because it's in the trades where the work actually happens. So it's interesting, Dennis and Jonathan, I'll start with you two first, only because you transitioned into healthcare. You've been there for 6 years. You've been at St. Luke's for 6 years. Coming into healthcare, what was that like for you? Where were you first? What were you doing, and how did you get into healthcare? And what was that transition like?
So I worked remodeling and residential construction for various amount of years, and also did some car manufacturing for a time. And then I transitioned into hotel maintenance for about 1.5 years, and kind of got started in the HVAC role, started going to school for HVAC and refrigeration. And I worked there for about 1.5 years, and it didn't pay very well there. It didn't have very much upward trajectory there. So I started looking at different options, and I found P1 and saw this role. I actually originally applied for a role at a different hospital here in the Kansas City area. And then this position opened up. So I came over here to St. Luke's when they offered me this position, and finished my schooling when I was working as a maintenance engineer here at St. Luke's, and then just kind of worked my way up here through the various roles.
What? So I know you mentioned HVAC and refrigeration. Do you, with St. Luke's now, are you in HVAC refrigeration, or are you guys more generalist in nature, or how does that work?
overall at most of the locations, we're kind of general maintenance. We touch a little bit of everything, but here at our location specifically, we're bigger than the other campuses, so we specialize a little bit more. I focus on the mechanics here and our specialist shops, our carpenters. And with our mechanics, we have the refrigeration shop, and we deal with the HVAC. But you can talk to Dennis. He's works with our power plant mostly. But we all touch the HVAC. We all touch a little bit of everything here.
Okay. Dennis, since Jonathan threw it over to you, jump right in, please.
So previously to working here at P1's St. Luke's for the 6 years I've been here, I did mostly landscaping work and worked on my cars a lot, did a lot of home maintenance with my father. And I used to do wedding reception venue work, doing security work for them, doing, little maintenance, working on the toilets and, cleaning air conditioning coils out on the rooftop and stuff like that. I made the transition over because my father was actually a maintenance engineer for 30 plus years, I think. He was in the same union I'm in now, and he kind of is the one that got me kickstarted over here.
Was he working in a healthcare capacity, Dennis?
Yes, he worked at the same location we are at here on the plaza in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay. I want to come back to you two to just talk about kind of that transition. Michael, before you give a little bit of your background, because I know you were elsewhere too before you went into healthcare environment. How big is St. Luke's? How many trades? But can you kind of give us the logistical info, just so folks get a sense for how big of a organization or how big of a building you guys are in?
Yeah, so our main campus where we're currently at right now, it's about 1,000,007 square foot, over 500 patient beds. And when I say our main campus, the St. Luke's health system is broken down into regions. So we're considered the central region. So not only do we have this 1,000,007 square foot massive building that needs constant attention, with parts of it bragging that they're over 100 years old, mind you. But we've got a child care center, a child spot center, a hospice house, a school for nursing. We take care of a lot of property. So, and it's all, we've got a team of 40 here under the three of us. Okay. And so we've got business occupancy, healthcare, ambulatory, all of that.
So you've got 40 for 1.7 million square feet?
1.7 at the main campus. I don't know what the square footage is if you combine all of our buildings that we oversee.
You guys got a lot of responsibility. That's me talking, not you.
No, we'd agree.
Wow, you're covering a lot of ground. And do you guys have grounds as well? Or is that?
So we do have grounds. One thing that is potentially unique to some healthcare facilities, our team is only healthcare facilities specific. So the maintenance, the preventative maintenance projects such as that. We do have a grounds team with St. Luke's, but they are not a part of my specific team. So yes, we do have a grounds team. And we have a construction team that's not a part of us, but we work hand in hand with them. So we are solely maintenance for our department.
Does maintenance include PM work order work? So, okay. So it's just not, you don't have the PDC part of it. You don't have the building, but you got everything. Okay.
Yeah, we do minor PDC, small scale. Dennis this morning has actually been working on changing out some plumbing in a pharmacy room. So small scale PDC, but definitely not, giving a whole unit a facelift, building a new building, things of that nature.
So you guys, Dennis, are you hands-on plumbing and I know, Jonathan, you said you guys kind of touch everything, but will you do minor plumbing repairs? Will you guys get out there and utilize the tools as well?
Yes, very much so. Being the lead now, kind of backed off a little bit, but we should get out there and touch the tools and replace stuff and work on PM and air handlers and stuff like that. So.
Okay. So you got your PM in the air handlers and okay. And Michael, you got a little bit of an HVAC background too, right?
Yep. We have a very good team here at St. Luke's in P1. A couple years ago, I was going through some tough times because I was the only one in this role. And through working with our facility manager, I was able to get these two on. So previous to these two being on, I was more hands-on. I would do more things on the floor. I haven't in the last couple of years. But yeah, we all chip in. I like to lead via I would never ask you to do something I wouldn't do. And these guys are great about it. They're constantly helping the team, constantly involved. I try to be, but now I'm kind of learning the other side of the business where it is more hands off. But it is funny, and I'll be quick. When I came in with my HVAC knowledge, it was residential, refrigeration. So I thought I was going to come in swinging for the fences in healthcare, and we are all chilled water and steam, or at least 95%. So I've got a good foundation, but it was quite the learning curve still. And healthcare, there's so many regulations and codes. It's a lot. It's a beast, but it's good. You learn so much doing this.
Well, you've kind of almost answered my next question, but I want to throw it out there. So how does, and you guys all kind of came in, you've been in there for a while now, but you kind of came into healthcare fresh. How does working in a hospital environment, how does working in a healthcare environment change the way you guys view your trade or viewed your trade from pre-healthcare to now being knee deep in it? Anybody want to take that one?
So I'll jump. HVAC, and mine's minor. These guys have definitely done more on the floor work than me. I can fully admit, but when I was in HVAC, my mind was all comfort. Is Peter comfortable in his office? Is he cool enough? Is he warm enough? Or is the air stale? That's all I cared about, and humidity to a degree. But now that we are in healthcare, we have surgical suites. Is it positive pressure? Is it negative pressure? The humidity isn't just, is it comfortable? It is critical to, are we damaging the equipment, damaging the tools? It is so much more in depth. It's so much more involved than one would realize. You asked earlier, how is making the transition from non-healthcare to healthcare? It's easy and difficult. There's a lot of foundational work. 90% of your day, I would consider not healthcare, if you will, but that 10%, you got to be on your game, and you have to know the healthcare, and you have to know the critical areas that you're touching and how many lives can be affected by how you react and what you do. So it's a lot, but if you have a good team such as us, we make it manageable.
So if 90% of your day is not healthcare, is that spent like team management meetings with, what's that 90%?
No, when I say not healthcare, I mean like you can hang a picture anywhere. I can plunge a toilet, any environment. But when I say healthcare, I mean like if there's a patient that is in a negative pressure room, an isolation room, that's when you have to put on the healthcare hat and think of specific codes.
Gotcha.
So we're still in the hospital doing stuff. It's just specific to where we're at.
That's a good description. Jonathan, I know you're shaking your head. Did you want to jump in there?
Yeah, one of the things that I was thinking about, we do have across our shops, the different work that we do. Like Dennis was, we were talking about the plumbing work that he was doing. Being in a pharmacy room, we can't just go in there and get above the ceiling and start replacing the pipes. We have to do different risk assessments. We have infection control that we have to consider before the construction projects. They do the pre-construction meetings, and also depending on what's going on, we have the intermittent life safety measures, ILSMs, that we have to consider if there's a exit egress that's blocked, or a critical system that's being taken offline. You have to think about that. We can't just say, okay, well, we need to keep the dust down and clean up the area. We have to set up the negative pressure machines, have sticky mats to control the dust and the infection issues that way. And then also, things you don't think about if you're drilling or if you're making noise, you have noise and vibration issues for surrounding areas, and just a lot of extra things to consider before you just start a project. You have to make sure all your bases are covered before you can, even if it's just a little thing, it could be just hanging a picture or doing a small wall repair.
So Jonathan,
Right.
how was that transition for you? Like how long, again, because everything you just described, it's funny. I was at a conference last week or 2 weeks ago. Been doing a lot of traveling, and you just mentioned ILSMs, and the speaker was talking about how they'll go out there and still a lot of people who have been, they don't always do an ILSM and they don't do that, the stuff you were just talking about before, the ICRAs, and they were like, I expect better, and it just doesn't always happen. And how long did it take you to kind of shift that mindset into the healthcare environment? As Michael was saying, these healthcare specific regs that impact the work you do. What was that transition like for you?
So I had some pretty good lead engineers across my time. Mike was my lead engineer for quite a while. And I got some very good training at all the locations that I worked with, and the other maintenance engineers that I worked with side by side. We do a pretty good job of helping each other out. There's always something to learn, even, as long as we've been here, there's always more that we have to learn. But with the training that I had and the structure, it was, I think with our group here, it was pretty easy for me. You always have to consider, like I talked about being in the hotel, you have to consider customers and, trying to keep things clean, but we just take it a few steps farther here because we have to be extra careful that you don't want to get people hurt, get people sick. You have to make sure that people can get out safely in an emergency. But I had some pretty good training and a lot of good help along the way. So it was fairly easy for me.
How has the trades world, I guess, changed over the years? What types of transitions have you guys seen in that regard?
It's been a little bit different because there's not a lot of, new generationals coming to the trades. So it is kind of hard to find, people to come in and do this type of work, unfortunately. I don't know, it's really difficult.
That's well said. That's a big change, right? And that's probably a negative change. Jonathan or Michael, anything to kind of add to that? I assume you're seeing the same things that Dennis is seeing. You're all in the same hospital. Anything to add relative to the change you've seen?
I think one thing that I noticed being in school, because I was working here and going to school at the same time, and I tried to talk to guys about coming to work here because we always have openings. We're always looking for qualified individuals. And a lot of people, I think, were hesitant either because they didn't understand the type of work that we did or maybe a little nervous about working in a hospital. Mike always brings up that point when we do interviews, when we're hiring, the process of hiring people. But I think one thing, people don't really, I don't think they fully understand what we do here. They understand specific trades like electricians and plumbers and HVAC. But when you think about hospital maintenance, you probably don't understand fully what happens.
I know this is about facilities and facilities week, but I fully agree with Jonathan. A gripe I have, and I believe I mentioned to you when we first met at the national conference this year, is I don't think some of our people do a great job of explaining what it is, what we do. I'm not saying got the perfect explanation, but I think we could get a lot more people in the door if we made it sound less intimidating, right? So it's a critical job. It is. I'm not going to lie to you for a moment, but there is quite a bit of work that isn't patient safety critical, if you will, and can be just normal trades work. We could take a non-healthcare electrician and transfer their skill set just fine. Now, during the time until a critical failure or critical issue happens, we have the time to train you and get you ready with the healthcare mindset. But I think one thing we really need to do and start stressing is that people can do this. There are a lot of capable people Like I said, I came in thinking I was going to be awesome with my HVAC knowledge, and it hardly transferred other than a foundation. And here I am now, a senior lead engineer for one of the biggest hospitals in Kansas, or I guess Missouri. But yeah, I mean, I think we need to do a better job of explaining what it is we do and giving potential day by day. And people can do this. There's a lot of eligible people out there that we have to promote and give them the confidence that they can do this.
What do you think, Michael, and I agree with you. What do you think foundationally? So if somebody doesn't have the healthcare experience, what would you look for them to have to be able to translate in and potentially become a good tradesperson for you and ultimately continue on if they want?
So some people may not agree with me. I'm hoping these guys do, and they may not. So please disagree. I honestly will hire for attitude every single day of the week. I will hire for a good attitude, someone wanting to work, someone wanting to learn. Now, if in the interview you don't know what a screwdriver is, then there are limits to how little someone can know. But we can work with anyone. We are fortunate enough to have the size of the team that we have, so we have the ability to train guys up. But I want people that want to be here, want to work. That's kind of what I'm after. Anything after that is a bonus. We have actually had guys that would be wonderful fits pure mechanically, but I will put my foot down if I think they'll cause an issue with the team or be a problem and give us headaches down the road. I don't want to risk the team's cohesiveness. I don't want to risk what we've built. So I'm way more about what you're going to bring outside of your mechanics than your mechanics themselves.
Jonathan and Dennis, agree or disagree? Not to put you on the spot.
I agree. One of the things we tell when we're in the interview process of trying to get new guys in here is you get what you put into it. So if you're willing to do the work and do the legwork to learn everything and learn the trades, then you'll be just fine.
If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the network. And more importantly, share it with your colleagues in the healthcare industry. Together, we can solve the aging crisis that's impacting all of us.
Yeah, and I think practically these days, just practicality is what you've been saying. I mean, Dennis, was the first thing you said about how the trades change. Well, you don't see people coming in. All right, if people aren't coming in, then you don't have your pick of the litter. So as you said there, Michael, you take somebody who's got the want to and you create them.
The other part of that is that healthcare engineering, it's not a normal trade, or I don't know if this is the right term, but a cool trade. You're not going to go to the movie theater and the blue collar guy is a healthcare engineer. He's a plumber, he's an electrician, he's a carpenter. So I think the other thing is we need to do a better job of promoting our style of work. Outside of tradespeople who may accidentally stumble upon what we do. But yeah, the limited people coming into the trades is even more limited because they don't know that we are a trade. We're not just the maintenance man. We've got a critical job.
Yeah, that was one of the things, when I was just doing the recruiting with Gosselin Martin, you would see organizations, hospitals would use the term maintenance, and there's nothing wrong with maintenance, right? But it kind of reflects, it's a limiter on what you do maintenance gives a very specific visual, and it's much more than just maintenance. It's connected to the patient, it's connected to the family, and we would always say to hospitals, we would try to get them just to change that word, right, to reflect the higher level of what you actually do. And you're right. Last thing, I'll shut up, Jonathan, you're shaking your head. I don't know if you want to go next, but when you were saying that, I had Lamar Davis on one of my very early podcasts, and he was he was saying, nobody grows up, like, you don't see kids growing up. You might play cowboys and Indians. You might want to be an athlete. You might want to do all that. He's like, nobody grows up wanting to be a healthcare engineer. He's like, nobody even knows it exists. So we have to promote it better, that the opportunity exists. And I don't know, you guys, you're in the trades, but you got a roof over your head, you got temperature and humidity. You're not out in the, you're not out in the elements. It snows where you guys are. There's ice storms where you guys are. So there's a lot of benefits to it. Jonathan, I'm going to go back to you because you mentioned it. When you tried to promote, like when you were in school and you tried to tell other people about it, were you successful in that, or what was your success rate?
I wasn't able to get any of the guys that I was in school with to be interested in the job. I tried to explain it to them, and yeah, because one thing, I think if you go work at an HVAC company, you can see a little bit higher, probably dollar per hour rate than what you do here. But we have other benefits being in the union. But I think people were probably a little bit intimidated also thinking about going and working at a hospital. One of the things that I like to tell people when I'm training them here is we have a large campus. We have a lot of various types of equipment that we work on here, but your basics are all the same. And I think plenty of people have at least the basic knowledge enough to come work here. They just don't, maybe worried that they don't know how to apply it well enough. But if they know their basics and apply them, we are able to teach all the specifics of the different type of equipment that we have here. And even to the point of going to, different campuses, different hospitals, and then even those basics that you learn on the job as a maintenance engineer, it still applies, as a lead engineer, as a facility manager. As you move up, you still use all those same things that you learned along the way.
The intimidation factor is interesting. I don't know that I've ever heard that one before, and I'm glad you brought that up. I had never considered it. So the working in the hospital, Michael and Dennis, do you guys see the same? Have you seen the same? That the kind of little bit of a barrier there?
Yeah, I see that, and maybe it's the being around all of the illnesses that could possibly be going on. There could be a room that has TB, or there could be C. diff in one room. You never know. So you always have, I think that may play a factor in it, always be in the back of their mind.
Well, I guess Dennis and Jonathan, you probably in it for about a year before COVID hit, right? And if you've been in 6 years, so it's 2019, right around that time frame.
Yep.
Baptism.
Yeah.
Baptism
started
right
when COVID hit, right when we started masking up. That's when I started. So.
Good timing, Dennis.
Yeah.
But you stuck around. Why?
Yeah.
How do can we talk about technology for a second? How have you seen technology impact your work? And is technology, is it helpful? Is it a hindrance? Is it a limiter? Can you talk a little bit about technology and its impact on your daily work?
I'll do the brief one, but these guys, especially Dennis, probably more affected by technology with all the systems that he's over. But I think it's funny. I'm not judging, but you go to these conferences and AI is brought up so often, right? The future is AI, be it robots delivering this or helping you with emails or what have you. Our facility, our health system, and I don't have the background. I can't speak to it on a professional level, but all AI sites are blocked on our computers. So now that's websites. That's not necessarily the extent of what AI is, but
right. But like a chat GPT is blocked on your computer.
Yeah. So you hear about all these innovations and that and how it's coming or it's here, and we don't have the access yet, but technology, it is drastically quickly changing the landscape of not just us, but what everyone's doing.
So the technology side of mine, we got a lot of computer-based systems that we keep track of here in the Energy Center for the Plaza location. We monitor the fire system. We monitor the tube system. We monitor IT equipment. There's a lot we do with technology. Luckily, our company gives us these fabulous iPads to carry around to be able to access most of that information. We also have, BMS systems that we watch to control all the HVAC stuff, chill water systems, steam systems, hot water systems, everything from the HVAC side to domestic cold water, so people for their showers, for washing their hands. We have a lot of technology that we deal with here on a day-to-day basis.
Helpful?
Yeah, for the most part.
There's some things that are tried out that don't necessarily work out. We did have they use a robot here to try it for a delivery here at the hospital. That didn't end up staying. We've also tried different systems here to kind of like our BMS system, but it shows out the layout of the hospital and things that, you can track equipment and locations that way. So we've tried different things out. We also have tools that we try to, if we find a good tool that works well, like within our refrigeration shop, we started using the smart probes instead of just the analog gauges for the refrigerant. So there's a lot of things that we try out, and if they work, we keep them. Sometimes they don't necessarily work out the way we hoped, but that's how it goes.
Right. So where does your CMMS system live?
In Citrix, or it is Citrix and TMS.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Accruent system. They do a great job for us. We're actually getting upgraded right now. So if in a month from now you see comments on your channel, disregard. But TMS is generally pretty good.
So if maybe we need to come back on November 15th and do like a 5-minute opening into it. Right?
There you go.
And do you guys have oversight? Not oversight, but you're running the work order system within your maintenance department?
Yes and no. So when I say P1 is contracted, I mean we are, but like our facility manager, who is a St. Luke's employee, he came from P1. The natural progression for our healthcare system, and I don't think it's purposeful, but is to go from P1 to St. Luke's. So we have a very, very good hand-in-hand relationship with St. Luke's. So I would technically say that St. Luke's manages it. Our facilities service center call team, they manage it, but me, John, Dennis, as well as the lead engineers at the other campuses, will make suggestions, we'll review it, we'll give the go-ahead. So it's not our baby, but we are heavily invested, heavily involved.
Has technology, have the technologies you've used, does it make job easier? Does it make it more difficult? Is it, because I think you alluded to it, Michael, we're still in healthcare, excuse me, 15 to 20 years behind. I mean, we're not on the cutting edge of any of the technologies. There's usually a lag, but on the whole, technology, a plus, a minus, or a, even?
I think it could break either way depending on what the system is that we're trying out.
Yeah.
We do have multiple programs that we use for different things. We have our ILSMs are on one. We have our CMMS system. We have different things that we use. We have our kind of set in stone things that we use, but we also try new things. So it just kind of depends on the system, how well it works, and how well it works with our system also.
Speaking of the graying out, we got a lot of people that maybe don't love technology. So even
that's
the
where
good
I was
systems,
going, Michael. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Go right ahead then.
Even the good systems, it can be a struggle, and it's no judge. We all have different skill sets, but
Right.
this TMS thing, our CMMS program, just trying to log in for like the last week has been a nightmare. And you would think it's simple, and to some it is, to some it's not. And we've probably spent too much time having to help some of our staff, log in. So there's a lot of good that comes of technology, but there is a lot of trial and error, and there is a lot of unknown for what the technology is. And there's a lot of hesitation even for the good stuff. Paper always
Yeah.
works. We can put it in a notebook, and there's just so many facets you have to consider.
Don't make fun of the notebook.
Hey, I'm a big notebook guy.
Well, what's funny is like so at CREF, we've been doing a good deal of work. Like we're CMMS agnostic. We don't have, but what we do is data collection, going out to the field, because you can create the CMMS, but if you don't know, if you haven't tagged everything, if you haven't done your asset data collection, it's garbage. But one of the things, and it goes to your point there, Michael, about training people to log, it's just this massive change management exercise, right? Where you can't take anything for granted, right down to the fact of even just logging in, because if you can't log in, you're like, I'm not even, you're just, from the very beginning, you're outside looking in.
Yeah, Dennis, I feel bad for him at times. We've got a leadership group that's very forward thinking. We're fortunate with that, but he'll have 2 to 3 programs that do the literal same thing. I mean literal. One's a paper version, one's a digital version, and then one's the version that we kind of made in Excel during the interim period. So not only is there a lot of technology, but there's a lot of redundancy, because we don't know if that program is going to last the life of what we need it to, or
right.
It's a lot.
What do people outside of the trades, what don't they realize about your job, and kind of further about your job and the impact that you have, that your role has on patient care?
I think a lot of what we do isn't just fixing things. Yes, that's our primary focus of our job, is to fix the equipment and the issues that are around it. But we're here to help take care of the patients. Obviously, we don't work on the patients, but we go in the rooms with the patients. We fix the things for them, even simple things like TVs or things like that aren't critical to their care. We have the physical environment that the patients walk through, the things that they see. The visitors are here. We're here to make the situation the best that we can for them. We can't help heal them, but we can help take care of the things that take care of them, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's part of helping to heal them, right? Because that environment that you create is a positive one. Did you know, and maybe for all three of you, before you started, did you know that your role would have that impact on patients, or did you kind of go in thinking there's a wall between what you do and the patient experience?
For me personally, I would say that there was kind of a wall, is what I thought when I came in. I didn't think I was going to be, working so close to the patients. But like John hit it right on the nose with what he said about everything, doing the critical stuff like that.
How do you see kind of the trades evolving to meet the demands of hospitals and systems in the coming years?
That is a concern of mine. I'm not sure. I know you're not asking for the end all be all answer, but yeah. I don't know. I think there needs to be a focus, especially with technology at our fingertips, of doing a better job advertising for ourselves and promoting ourselves and what we do, and trying to get people into our line of work. But with the decline of available employees, the pool of employees, it is concerning. And maybe it's just from where I'm sitting, maybe it's a personal thing, but I don't see a big shift on how we're going to overcome that. That's my personal opinion. It's a worry.
The younger folks coming into the trades, is there a different, and maybe you can't answer it, but is there a difference in their expectations for the role? Has that evolved over the years? And the reason, I guess, just a little bit of background that I hear, at least kind of like on the leadership level, and I'm sure it's the same on the trades level, is that people don't want to get into the leadership because, like, I don't want that. Right? It's too much. I love what I do. I love working in healthcare. I love making a difference, but I don't need that headache. So that's kind of a change that's occurred. Have you seen like a similar or a change in the way folks coming into the trades look at it now, as opposed to say, because listen, you can take COVID changed everything, and I look at that 5 years ago, that's when things flipped. So have people coming into the trades, their mindset, has it changed post COVID, or do you guys not have an opinion or insight because you've been at the hospital now for a while?
I think mindset does change, just just in general over the years, going from strictly just a trades type work to more of a, you do more than just one type of thing. But also I think it changes a little bit. Yeah, when COVID started, I remember thinking that I wasn't going to keep working here if COVID was going to happen like that, and then here I am.
Yeah.
I think part of it is just being able to see how things, the outcome of how things can go. I know it was rough for a lot of people, but we had a good team here. I think the younger guys coming in, part of it's just being open, honest about what's going on, how things can go here. I think some part of it also is the visibility of maybe the roles that are posted, or even just what we're doing. A lot of people just don't know what we're doing. And I think one thing that can help is just trying to, like with our job postings don't say hospital maintenance, they say FMO at SLH. So maybe people don't know what facilities maintenance operation is. And I think people still kind of focus on just going into the single trade type work, getting into a specific union. But I think coming in here, we still work in a union, but what we can do is so much more than just one specific type of thing. I think that's something that kind of helps a little bit also.
I probably am a little late in asking that question. So that you guys have alluded a couple of times to being in the union, but within the union, you're able to go into the, you're able to do a little bit of plumbing, you're able to do HVAC. Like, is you're set up that you can cover a number of different areas, and it's not just the techs, HVAC techs do the HVAC work, your plumbers do the plumbing work. You guys can cross functional.
Specifically here for St. Luke's, yes.
Yeah, that must help, especially with that amount of square footage. What is and so we're kind of coming close to the end, but I wanted to ask, this is really yes or no, are you guys happy, or are you pleased with your career path that you got into healthcare? And do you see if all things are equal, we can't tell the future. Heck, I might be gone Friday, whoever knows, right? But if all things are equal, do you want to kind of stay on the career path that you're on now, or has healthcare been a nice change for you?
I would say, yeah. I like my career path has been headed, where it's headed. Kind of started from the bottom here. Came into a role as what P1 calls an entry level, which the expectations is, you just come in and learn, and that's it. You're just there to learn and pick up things. And like I said earlier, you get what you put out of, you get what you put into it. So I put quite a lot into where I'm at now, coming from the lowest guy here to not know anything 6 years ago to being a lead engineer here 2.5 years ago. So I like where I'm headed. Stable for my family. I got 5 kids I'm taking care of. So
Jonathan, you talk about trying to convince people. I mean, there is, like, you're a hard worker. You work hard, you can make your path, because there's opportunity if you want it.
One thing that I didn't realize getting into this trade is how many different opportunities it can open up. I mean, obviously we have the trade work that you can do, and you can stay in that and get all the kinds of training and that type of trade that you want. But there's also the business side of it, the regulatory side of it, the consulting side of it. There's so many different options that it opens up for you, different paths that you can pursue. And also I know here we got a great team, a great leadership team. We have good guys, good technicians that work here. So overall, yeah, it's been good. It's been a good journey, and I really enjoy the people that I work with here.
I very much enjoy what I do. I love working with these two. I love working with the team that we have. Our St. Luke's manager is a phenomenal manager. Our P1 team supports us. And then just St. Luke's, while we're not St. Luke's, they don't sign our paychecks. They treat us like we're, one of the team. So I'm not sure if it's healthcare or if we've just lucked out into an amazing group of individuals around us we support and that support us. But yeah, there's endless opportunities once you're in healthcare if you have enough drive. It's great.
Yeah. So last question, and I appreciate your time, Dennis Hall, Michael Kuntz, Jonathan Enlow, St. Luke's, out in Kansas City, Missouri, right? Not Kansas City, Kansas. If you were to talk, and we'll consider this the advertisement for this one, but if you were talking to that tradesperson, whether they're young, mid-career, wherever they are, but they don't know healthcare, they have no idea about, what would you tell them to at least try to get them consider the opportunity? What would you tell that tradesperson?
I would say it's a good, definitely professional place to work. You're not just out digging trenches, building walls. There's a lot of opportunity for growth, a lot of opportunity for education, learning. Like I said, it opens up a lot of different possibilities for career paths. You can stay as a technician if you want. You can move on higher up, get into different options that you didn't even know were out there. But yeah, it's definitely a great career path.
You have an opportunity as a recruiter there, Jonathan, in the way you explain these things.
That's what I didn't think about.
Exactly. See, the doors that are opening.
So to piggy off of Jonathan, when I was still in HVAC and wanted guys to join my HVAC team, I would tell them, in HVAC, you kind of touch everything. You may not be a master of it all, but with condensate pumps, you are now doing plumbing. With the copper, you're doing brazing, welding. With sheet metal, you're obviously doing tin. You touch everything. And I thought I was so blessed, or was, that I learned a foundation of so much. But here at the hospital, it's been exponential. I have done anything maintenance or near maintenance that you can think of. I guarantee you I have done it. I am constantly learning. And if you are just aiming for a foundation, this is a great place to get a foundation on anything and everything you could imagine. And if it doesn't work out, or if you find out, hey, I really like electricity or doing electrician's work, then you can go from here into that next role. But we're a good foundation. And at least at our location, we've had a lot of 20, 30, 40-year guys. What we do is impactful. What we do is good. And I think we could convince quite a few people to stay once we got them in the door.
Like they said, a lot of room for growth, man. And
Yeah.
anything is possible when you step into this field. The sky's the limit. So
Perfect.
Definitely.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Don't eat too much this week.
Yeah, I was actually getting phone texts about getting lunch delivered during this thing, so I had to coordinate that real quick.
Hey, don't let me hold that up, Dennis. I don't want to get in front of people on that. So, Dennis, Michael, Jonathan, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. The hour flew by, but coming out of it, it's engineering week, and without you guys, those doctors and nurses, they're not doing their job. So, with that, Peter Martin for the Healthcare Facilities Network. As always, thank you for tuning in, and we will be back with another episode soon. Take care.
If you want to be a guest on a future episode of the Healthcare Facilities Network, go to healthcarefacilitiesnetwork.com and let us know who you are and what you want to talk about, because together we can solve this critical aging issue.